In this video, we want to take a look at the Australian dollar. It's been very volatile lately for a few different reasons. One of the reasons is the Chinese economic data from last week was very, very weak, and this does not bode well for Australian exporters, particularly in the commodities markets. Let's go ahead and look at some videos, some charts, and see how we can make money trading the Australian dollar. This first chart is a daily chart of the Euro-Australian dollar cross. We can see in today's activity, the cross rate is trading right around this 50-day moving average. Nothing overly exciting there. However, when we move over to the weekly chart, we can see that on a weekly chart, the Australian dollar has actually strengthened here a little bit against the euro. The euro is down. We can see that this 38.2% level on this Euro-Aussie weekly chart was pretty much supportive there. We've drawn a blue up arrow to identify that. On the downside, we would look for a test of the 1.3824 area, followed by 1.3721. On the upside, we have this blue up arrow to contend with. Looking over at our next pair, we have the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. Let's go ahead and start with our weekly chart here. We have a blue up arrow to indicate that the 50-week moving average is something that was tested on this Aussie C-dollar chart. The level coming in right around 99.29, that's 0.9929, was supportive. So we see traders tested our key retracement level there. However, on the downside, we have other levels such as this 38.2% level, that's 0.9898, and below there we would test 0.9785. We can also see on this monthly chart of the A dollar C dollar cross, we can see this red downtrend line here. We can see that this month the cross rate tested that just like it did last month and then came off. So we see a nice trend line here. Looks like a triangle formation possibly forming. Let's keep our eyes on that. Moving over to the Australian dollar against the Swiss franc, we can see that today's daily high is right around the 50-day moving average. That is this yellow line. So clearly taking some technical cues before moving lower. On our weekly chart, we want to try and identify some upside price targets. We can see this red downtrend line here. That is some resistance possibly. This 84.98 area has been something that the cross rate has not been able to take out this week. If we get above that level, we're going to look to the 86.40 area as our next target area, followed by the 87.20 area. That's right around up here. We also then have another moving average to contend with up there. Finally, we want to take a look at our monthly chart here. You can see a very, very nice trade. On the monthly chart here, the Australian dollar Swiss franc cross rate has tested 87.45, and then it came off to just above this 83.67 area over here. If we get really bearish and we take out some more levels, we will see if we can reach this 78.98 area down here. Finally, we have the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar cross rate. We don't really see too many cues here on our daily chart. However, when we move over to our weekly charts here, we can see the A dollar, New Zealand dollar top was right around the 1.1105 area over here, as demonstrated by this blue line. That's a 23.6% retracement of our 2014 low and high. Above that area, we would look for a test of the 1.1146 area, followed by a test of the 1.1270 area. And on the downside, we will see if it can hold the 1.0988 area, followed by 1.0893 area. Let's keep our eye on the Australian dollar. There are a lot of profits being made. Thank you very much.